Founded in 1998 by Scott Rosen, the HR Department of the Year Award has become a well-deserved symbol of excellence, leading companies in our region who have earned the honor over the past 17 years. This past April, a kickoff meeting was held for the 2015 HR Department of the Year Award event at the prestigious Union Lake in Philadelphia. This event featured this past year's winners, where each presented an in-depth overview of what it took to win the award. The session discussed how they won and their winning strategies.
So just a little bit of history on Jefferson. We're actually a 190-year-old institution. Two Penn physicians graduates started Jefferson Medical College. So we produce the most physicians in the country. So there's more practicing physicians today in the country that graduated from Jefferson than any other medical college. We're now the Sidney Kimmel Cancer Center with a very generous donation from Sidney Kimmel. So we have our hospitals, 3 hospitals. We have the university. We're one of 11 health science universities in the country. So basically every program that we have is specifically health sciences. There's nothing else that we do. And then we have our Jefferson University physicians, our academic practices, around 700 physicians. Our challenge as an organization was really moving from that very traditional, very hierarchical consensus, very change resistant. Jefferson will tell stories about how in the 80s they didn't make a decision and how that was the best decision they ever made. And in the 90s they didn't make a decision and it worked out great. So when I came on board, I thought, well, this is bad because we're actually telling stories about how if you do nothing, that's the best way to win. I'm like, now we have a president who believes he's the Steve Jobs of healthcare. And that story is not going to work. Like, he wants you to try 100 things. He doesn't care if 99 fail and 1 works, he'll be happy. And so that sort of cultural change is very different. So he wants that entrepreneurial model. He wants people to move fast, try things, fail fast, be accountable, and be very flexible for change. So within the HR, our challenges were a very under-resourced. We had 45 FTEs in HR for about 13,000 employees. Some of them had been in HR their entire career at Jefferson. No degree, a lot of high school diplomas. They were an admin, they got thrown into HR. We had 1 person in compensation, and not a lot of real expertise. And so what we wanted to move to was having that completely new structures, having centers of excellence, having HR leaders that basically knew best practices and could very quickly implement those. So when I say it was a complete turnaround, it was every single function of HR had to be redone. The impact we think today is that we are very much a trusted resource. So when I started, it was when I call HR, I get a different answer, nobody answers the phone, to now, wow, HR picks up the phone in under a minute. In fact, we now get the IT phone calls, and they've said, well, why can't you be the IT service center? And I'm like, we are not going there. Jefferson being such an old institution and having to have never had to make changes for years because they were very successful, to now, wow, we got to cut costs, we have to change the way we do things, we have to figure out how to hire millennials into an environment that seems innovative. All of those were challenges, and so today we believe that engagement and the things we've done has made a big difference. The amount of technology we've implemented in HR has been tremendous.
So it was really about a year ago when I was sitting at this meeting, and myself and a colleague of mine were jotting down all of our accomplishments, getting ready to start the application. So when we got back to our office, I put together a timeline that was going to take us from now through the deadline, and how we were going to put together all the content and I'll answer all the questions, what that was going to look like. The beginning of that process started with a team meeting where we looked at all the questions and we really sat down and figured out our strategy for what those specific responses were going to be. We put together an outline so we could really see everything together on the page, and then we came back to everybody and said, okay, now who's going to own this piece of it, this content, who's drafting this response to this question. And so as all the responses were coming in, we collaborated and put them all together, and then through the timeline that we put together, we had concrete deadlines for when those drafts were due, when we were going to get revisions back. So we had a fully engaged team as part of this process, which was really great. So we all had a voice from start to finish through writing the application to then the on-site. So we all really appreciated getting to spend some time together and really celebrate our accomplishments. In our application, what Pam has talked about is really using that storytelling, and we wanted it to be not just us standing up and saying, yay, we did this, but we really wanted the employees to tell the story and really what the programs have done for them, how it's impacted them, the success that they've had. Wellness is a great example. So it was, this person did Weight Watchers at work and they earned their wellness points and got a discount on their health plan at the same time. Collectively, I think everyone who's gone through multiple weight management programs has lost over, I want to say it's like 2,100 pounds. So all in all, it was, the process does take some time and dedication. It is a commitment. But if you have a timeline scheduled out so people know when things are due, what they're responsible for, it was a great experience. And at the end of the day, we had a really great application that then we could share with our entire department. So then everybody could really see what we were doing, where we were going, and all the accomplishments that we've achieved up until this point.
Join us for an evening spent in celebration as we acknowledge the achievements of our colleagues in the HR industry. Registration is now open. Also, applications are now being taken and sponsorships are available. If you have any questions, please contact Scott Rosen.